There is nothing to express about it, that today India requires this the most. And we have total 10 questions, and we are having 5 extinguished speakers. I'm humbled to speak. If we are very attentive, if we honor each other, we need to give very clear attention to each and every word that every speaker is speaking. And in that way, we need to maintain time. I simply don't want to say, please maintain time, but I am honored. I understand that each of our speakers will maintain definitely time. So each speaker will be given 2 questions, and we expect them to put their view on that. Once that particular speaker completes on that, if any of the finalists, they have anything to say on this, we will listen from them, and then we will go to the next speaker. To start with, I once again welcome Reverend Dr. Abraham Matthew, the Executive Secretary, National Council of Churches in India. With much honor, I welcome you, sir, once again. And I'm reading 2 questions for you, and we want your response on that. I hope I'm audible to Reverend Dr.
Yes, very much.
Abraham Matthew. So, yeah. The first one is, what are the keys to success of an interfaith dialogue as a mechanism for resolving humanitarian conflicts? And how can we move towards a shared and practical discourse on tolerance and humanitarian assistance? This is question number 1. Question number 2, how can theology support peace building? Can it be active in reducing the structural drivers of conflict? So we are honored to listen from you on this topic, sir. Now it's time to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon to you all. I bring greetings from National Council of Churches in India, which is a fellowship of 30 different churches. Churches in a sense, denomination of belonging to Protestant and Orthodox traditions. I, on behalf of the General Secretary of National Council of Churches in India, Reverend Asher Ebenezer, and the leadership, I greet you once again. And I hope that this kind of initiative will definitely foster a communal harmony and a kind of inclusive community in India. And my special thanks to the Sphere India for organizing this, especially my friend Siljo invited me, and I give him also my special thanks, and also all the organizers of Sphere India. Yes, thank you, Kunal Naik, for saying that be careful about time. I hope that I can.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All the dignitaries, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Let us just imagine about India. India is a land of religions. The Renaissance religious ethos played a vital role in shaping Indian polity and its democratic foundations. However, today, it is a global tendency that religions are used as tools to assert distinctive identities that are always seen in conflict with the other religious identities. Religions are being constructed and propagated as watertight, compartmentalized entities, ignoring their shared values and culture. Attempting to address such an issue, some of the people like Anuradha Needham and Rajeshri Sundararajan says, I quote, religion's role in the modern world has been vastly reconstituted, so much so that religious debates and conflicts are no longer primarily waged over matters of belief, the true God, salvation, or other substantiative issues of faith, as they once were. It is instead religion as the basis of identity and identitarian cultural practices, with the core religionists constituting a community, nation, or civilization that comes to be the ground of difference and hence conflict. It's very clear how the identity, religion become an identity oriented and how the conflicts are coming in. Within this context, we are discussing about the possibilities of interfaith dialogue. Whose religion is Christianity is a question raised by one of the African theologians, Lamin Sanneh. He raised this question in a context of always considering African Christianity as a product of Western Christianity. Negating the Western root of Christianity in Africa, he said, the African Christianity is not an extension of Western Christianity, rather, it is an outcome of their socio-political engagements. It was an effort to reoccupy Christianity from the clutches of the framework of Western Christianity. I am saying that reoccupying, that word I am using, reoccupying Christianity from the clutches of the framework of Western Christianity. The same question is relevant here since neo-colonial and native colonial power structures are active now in India. Religions have been occupied by socio-political, cultural elites now. Their biases on class, race, caste, gender, and sexuality are expressed through religions. They build religious institutions and structures which can easily silence, discriminate, and marginalize common believers. Therefore, the great task today is to ask the same question in India: whose religion is Indian Christianity? Whose religion is Hinduism? Whose religion is Islam? Whose religion is Buddhism? Whose religion is Sikhism, and so on? Because it has already been occupied by many. The main task of today is reoccupy religions or negate religions at all. Two options before the people now. Either reoccupy the religion and otherwise negate religion. As a believer and who believe in Christ, that I feel that we would need to involve in reoccupying religions for the sake of religions itself. We need to reoccupy religion for the sake of religion itself. I would say that we need to involve in reoccupying religion means an interfaith effort should be initiated in this line to recover true religions from artificial or fake expressions. It is an effort to demystify and debunk religious doctrines and social teachings that provide religious sanction to hate and socio-political inequality and such kind of marginalizations. Our discussion today, I feel, should go beyond dogmas and doctrine to life-centered dialogue. The dialogue of life and dialogue for life. I'm repeating it. The dialogue is not in terms of dogmas and doctrines. The dialogue of life and dialogue for life. This dialogue is not based on, again I'm repeating, based on dogmas or doctrines or facilitating any kind of syncretism. I think that you all know about syncretism. Rather, it is an effort to find out life within us, life among us, life with people. Now we are concentrating on how a religion is able to provide and promote life for the common people. This dialogue is not just to tolerate the other, because the word toleration has been used in your title also. I don't agree with that toleration, because toleration is something, it's a charity of the benevolent. We need to work together to enhance life in total. Tolerance is always an outcome of somebody's charity. It should not be the focus of dialogue. But how can we together achieve the goal of experiencing life in abundance? Experiencing life in abundance. This dialogue is not meant to maintain pseudo peace, rather to bring peace through the manifestation of justice. How we can maintain peace while injustice is in practice? That is a question that we need to ask. Therefore, dialogue should enable us to critically engage with our belief systems and practices, to review and reread teachings and moral codes that stigmatize and demonize people who are different from us. Again, I'm reading. Reread teachings and moral codes that stigmatize and demonize people who are different from us. It should encourage us to respect and accept different religious expressions and their practices with humility. It should help develop an openness among us to participate in religious festivals of other faith groups. It should also encourage us to transform all our places of collective worship into welcoming and a safe space for anyone who wishes to attend our worship. And I'm stopping for there, and I will go to the next question that I will finish within 2 minutes. How can theology support peace building? When we talk about theology, we are speaking about God. Those who believe in God believe that God is the creator and sustainer of the entire universe. God stands for life. God is love, and God is truth. If God stands for life, how the believers can stand for death? Bible commands that love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. And that is the first great commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. That love your neighbor as yourself. This is an invitation to build the space of love. We need to create a space of love. We need to create the space of fellowship. This space will have coalitions, fellowships, and alliances, where we gather as a community of communities, inspired by our respective faith traditions, to engage in public witness in the context of the say of death and destruction, in solidarity with the victims of injustice. I'm sure that our deepest theological understandings will guide us into this line. Let all of us have been part of such interfaith coalition of life and for life. Peace is the outcome of such small coalitions and fellowships. I wish this kind of initiative will definitely foster that kind of communities. May God enable us to form such public spaces where we all can come together and act as peacemakers. Bible again says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons and daughters of God. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Reverend Abraham Matthew. It's really precious words that you have spoken. I could capture some of the things, and I will never forget that. God stands for light. And God's commandment for us is to love our neighbor as ourselves. I think every one of us will love ourselves so much. And God commands us to love our neighbors as ourselves. Neighbor doesn't mean those who are staying adjacent to us, but the all human beings, maybe of the same generation, we are living together. Thank you so much, sir. I request other panelists, if you have anything little to add onto this, now it is time for you for some time. Then we will go to next speaker. Any one of our panelists, if they want to add anything to this thought. We are really honored to have this thought. Thank you so much for your good view. Anyone wants to add anything? If not, then let us move. I'm really impressed by the view that Dr. Abraham Matthew has kept. We are so lucky to have such a balanced human being among us who thinks of taking the whole world together. He also spoke on creating space for love and fellowship with fellow human beings. If we have this one, then definitely today's topic will definitely go how we can promote peace and inclusion. We should not departmentalize anything, but we should go hand in hand. Thank you so much. Now, next I request our another panelist, Dr. Shahid Ahmad. Sir, I welcome you. And two questions I'm reading for you. Hope, Ahmad sir, I'm audible to you. Ahmad sir, am I audible to you? Okay. I'm reading two questions for you.
Yes.
What are the attitudinal and behavioral changes relevant to promote peace, tolerance, and inclusion across communities and faith-based organizations? What are the attitudinal and behavioral changes relevant to promote peace, tolerance, and inclusion across communities and faith-based organizations? First question. Second one, how can religious leaders be mobilized to facilitate peace and inclusion at local levels? How can interfaith linkages be developed at the local levels? So we want to listen from you on these two topics, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. मैं सबसे पहले मैं इस बात की दरख्वास्त कर रहा हूँ कि सबसे पहले आपने जो मुझसे खिताब किया था उसी वक्त मैंने कहा था कि मैं इंग्लिश में उतना बयान करने वाला नहीं हूँ, मैं उर्दू में भी मैं अपनी बात पेश करने जा रहा हूँ। तो सबसे पहले जनाब, मैं इस इदारे का बेइंतहा शुक्र अदा करता हूँ कि जिन्होंने इस तरह का मौजू छेड़कर सारे आलम इस्लाम, सारे पूरी दुनिया को इस बात की तुमने दावत दी है कि दीन के जरिए, दीन के रहनुमाओं के जरिए किस तरीके से दुनिया में अमन कायम किया जा सकता है। क्योंकि दीनी रहनुमा और दीनी तालीमात अगर चाहे तो सारी दुनिया में अमन भी कायम कर सकती है, चाहे तो इस दुनिया को फसाद की तरफ भी ले जा सकती है। अब जो मेरे सामने जो पहला सवाल है जिसके अंदर ये कहा गया कम्युनिटीज और मजहबी तंजीमें अमन, रवादारी और एक दूसरे के करीब होने के लिए अपना तामुल और तर्ज अमल की तब्दीलियां क्या हैं, कैसे कर सकते हैं। तो इस सिलसिले में मैं तमाम अदियान को लेने के बजाय इस्लाम ने जो उसूल पेश किए दुनिया के अंदर पीस कायम करने के लिए और दुनिया में जो कुछ पीस के खिलाफ, फसाद के खिलाफ, फसादात और फितने जो हो रहे हैं उसके असबाब को सामने रखते हुए इस्लाम ने जो उसूल पेश किए, रहनुमा उसूल, मैं 3 उसूल पेश करने जा रहा हूं। सबसे पहली बात, समाजी और दीनी तंजीमों में अमन और शांति कायम करने के लिए हस्ब ज़ैल उसूलों की को समझने की जरूरत है। इस्लाम ने बड़े अच्छे उसूल बताए हैं उसके कुरान मजीद के अंदर। नंबर 1, हम सबको पैदा करने वाला ये एक है, हम सब का खालिक ये एक है, हम सब उसके बंदे हैं। फरमाया या अय्युहन्नासु अब्दू रब्बकुम अल्लज़ी खलक़कुम वल्लज़ीना मिन क़ब्लिकुम लअल्लकुम तत्तक़ून अल्लज़ी जअल लकुमुल अर्ज़ फ़िराशम वस्समाअ बिनाअन वअंज़ल मिनस समाइ माअन फ़अख़रज बिही मिनस समराति रिज़क़न लकुम फला तजअलू लिल्लाहि अंदादन वअंतुम तालमून। कि दुनिया में जहां कहीं भी पीस के खिलाफ, जहां भी फसादात हो रहे हैं, ये एक सबब यह बताया जाता है कि तुम्हारा खालिक अलग है, हमारा खालिक अलग। तुम दूसरी कौम हो, हम दूसरी कौम। जब पूरी दुनिया के लोग, पूरे मज़ाहिब के लोग, पूरे मज़ाहिब के रहनुमा مذہبی رہنما اس بات پر اتفاق کریں کہ ہم تمام کا پیدا کرنے والا ایک ہی ہے. اس کو بھی بڑے اچھے انداز میں قرآن نے پیش کیا ہے. کہا کہ فلاں فلاں نام نہیں لیا، بس یہ کہا کہ تم سب مل کر اس رب کی پوجا کرو جس نے تمہیں اور تمہارے باپ داداؤں کو پیدا کیا. یہاں پر کسی کا نام نہیں لیا گیا، کسی معبود کا نام نہیں لیا گیا. اس معبود تک پہنچنا ہر شخص کا کام ہے تحقیق کر کے، لیکن کہا گیا تم کو اور تمہارے باپ داداؤں کو جس نے پیدا کیا اس کی پوجا کرو، تمام متحد ہو جائیں گے اور دنیا کے اندر پیس قائم ہو جائے گا. اس لیے کہ جس نے زمین کو بچھونا بنایا، آسمان کو چھت بنایا، اوپر سے بارش نازل کیا، اس بارش کے ذریعے ساری دنیا کو رزق پہنچاتا ہے، قسم ہا قسم کے میوے پہنچاتا ہے. اس کو چھوڑ کر تم کہاں جا رہے؟ تو یہ پیس قائم کرنے کے لیے پہلا اصول اسلام یہ بتاتا ہے. نمبر 2، ہم سب ایک ہی ماں باپ کے بچے. دنیا میں جتنے بھی انسان پائے جاتے ہیں، اور اس بات کو اس سے پہلے والے، اچھا یہ 3 اصول جو بتا رہا ہوں صرف پیغمبر محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے ہی نہیں بتایا، بلکہ 1,24,000 پیغمبر پروکتا جتنے بھی اس دنیا کے اندر آئے ہیں سب نے یہی بات بتائی ہے. کہا کہ تم ایک ماں باپ کے بیٹے ہو. یا ایھا الناس انا خلقناکم من ذکر وانثى وجعلناکم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا ان اکرمکم عند اللہ اتقاکم. یہ کہا گیا کہ اے لوگو، دیکھیے مسلمانوں نہیں کہا گیا، اے لوگو، ساری دنیا کے لوگوں، ہم نے تمہیں ایک مرد اور ایک عورت سے پیدا کیا ہے، جیسا کہ اس کی وضاحت آتی ہے آدم اور حوا سے، اور تمہیں خاندانوں میں قبیلوں میں تقسیم کیا. کس کے لیے؟ ایک دوسرے کو پہچاننے کے لیے، یہ امن کو ختم کرنے، آپس میں جھگڑوں کے لیے نہیں، بلکہ ایک دوسرے کو پہچاننے کے لیے. پھر کہا تم میں سب سے زیادہ اس رب کے پاس محبوب وہ ہے جو سب سے زیادہ اس سے معبود سے ڈرنے والا ہے. تو اس طریقے سے تیرا خاندان الگ، یعنی تو الگ کسی اور ماں باپ سے آیا ہے، میں کسی اور ماں باپ سے آیا، یہ جھگڑا ختم کر کے امن قائم کرنے، پیس قائم کرنے کے لیے یہ بہترین اصول ہے جو اسلام نے بتایا ہے. نمبر تین، اس دنیا کے اندر فسادات اور فتنے، جھگڑے، یہ ساری چیزیں کیوں ہو رہی ہیں؟ اس لیے ہو رہی ہیں کہ اس کے اوپر کوئی پکڑنے والا نہیں ہے. تو اس کے لیے اسلام نے بتایا کہ ایک اور دن آنے والا ہے. سورج کا مقابلے میں چاند ہے، رات کے مقابلے میں دن ہے. اس دنیا کے مقابلے میں آخرت ہے جہاں پر تم ہی جا کر اس سے خالق کے سامنے کھڑے ہونا ہے، ہر چھوٹے چھوٹے کا حساب دینا ہے. اس لیے کہا کہ زعم الذین کفروا ان لن یبعثوا بلا وربی لتبعثن ثم لتنبؤن بما عملتم وذلک علی اللہ یسیر. لوگ سمجھتے ہیں کہ دوبارہ اٹھایا جانا نہیں ہے، دوسری دنیا آنے والی نہیں ہے. کہتا ہے کہ ضرور آنے والی ہے، ضرور تم اٹھائے جاؤ گے. جو کچھ تم کیا کرتے ہو ان تمام کے بارے میں تمہیں حساب کتاب دینا پڑے گا. یہ اس اللہ کے لیے بہت آسان ہے. اگر جواب دہی کا اگر ہر ایک کے اندر یہ تصور آ جائے، فَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. جو بھی ذرا برابر بھلائی کرتا ہے اس کو کل قیامت کے دن اس کا بہترین بدلہ دیکھ لے گا. جو ذرا برابر برائی کرتا ہے اس کی سزا آخرت میں وہ ضرور پائے گا. اس بات کی یقین اسلام دلاتا ہے تاکہ دنیا کے اندر امن قائم ہو جائے. جھگڑا کرنے والا، فتنہ مچانے والا آخرت کے عذاب سے ڈر کر وہ امن کے ساتھ زندگی گزارے. یہ 3 اصول ہیں. ان 3 اصولوں کو سامنے رکھ کر دنیا کے اندر جتنی بھی سماجی تنظیمیں ہیں، جتنی بھی دینی تنظیمیں ہیں، اس بات کو پھیلائے. اور خصوصاً یہ پروگرام دینی رہنماؤں کے لیے بنایا گیا ہے. تمام دینی رہنما اسی بات کا دنیا کے اندر چرچا کریں. اب آئی اس کے بعد دوسرے سوال کی طرف میں جاتا ہوں. دوسرے سوال کے اندر یہ پوچھا گیا ہے کہ ان تمام دینی رہنماؤں کو کس طریقے سے ان کو پیس کی طرف جانے کے لیے، پیس کی طرف دنیا کو لے جانے کے لیے، امن کی طرف دنیا کو لے جانے کے لیے ان کو کیسے حرکت میں لائیں اور ان کو کس طریقے سے ان کے لیے رہنما اصول بتائیں تاکہ وہ دنیا کو سنبھال سکے۔ مذہب رہنما چاہے جس دین کے بھی ہو، کرسچینٹی کے ہو، ہندو مذہب کے ہو، جین مذہب کے ہو، بدھ مذہب کے ہو، جس مذہب کے بھی ہو، پیس کی طرف، امن کی طرف ساری دنیا کو لے جا سکتے ہیں۔ ان کی بہت بڑی ذمہ داری ہے۔ اس بارے میں کہا، اس بارے میں اسلام ایک اصول دیتا ہے، جب کبھی تم اپنے مذہب کو پھیلانا ہے، پرچار کا تو پرچار کی اجازت ہے ہندوستان کے اندر اور ساری دنیا میں، کہیں کہیں اس پر رکاوٹیں آتی ہیں، لیکن خاص کر کے کسی بھی مذہب کو برا نہ بتائیں، کسی بھی مذہب کو نیچا نہ بتائیں۔ کہا کہ وَلَا تَسُبُّوا الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ فَيَسُبُّوا اللَّهَ عَدْوًا بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ۔ کہا کہ تم اپنے مذہب کو پھیلانا چاہتے ہو، دوسرے مذاہب کو گالیاں نہ دو، برا بھلا نہ کہو، ان کو نیچا نہ بتاؤ، اس لیے کہ اگر تم ان کو نیچا بتاؤ گے تو تمہارے دین کو، تمہارے اللہ کو وہ لوگ گالیاں دیں گے۔ کتنا بہترین اصول ہے۔ پروفٹ محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے یہ بھی کہا کہ تم اپنے ماں باپ کو گالیاں نہ دو۔ لوگوں نے تعجب کیا، ماں باپ کو کون گالیاں دیتا ہے؟ کہا کہ دوسرے کے ماں باپ کو تم گالیاں دیتے ہو تو وہ تمہارے ماں باپ کو گالیاں دے گا۔ تم اپنے ماں باپ کو گالیاں دینے والے تم بنے، سبب تم بنے۔ اس طریقے سے دوسرے مذاہب کو برا بلا نہ کہو، اگر کہو گے تو وہ تمہارے مذہب کو برا بلا کہیں گے۔ اس طریقے سے دنیا میں پیس ختم ہو جائے گا۔ اس لیے ضرورت اس بات کی ہے کہ مذہب کے نام پر کوئی ایسا کام نہ کریں جو دوسروں کو تکلیف دینے والا کام۔ جو اصل مذہب ہوتا ہے، مذہب کی جو عبادت ہوتی ہے، دوسروں کو تکلیف دینے والے کام اس کے اندر کبھی نہیں ہوتے۔ لیکن جو بھی اگر کام ہے دوسروں کو تکلیف دینے والا کام، تو وہ مذہب کے اندر ملایا ہوا ہے، مذہب کا اصلی کام نہیں۔ اس کے لیے میں مثال دیتا ہوں۔ اسلام کے اندر مثال کے طور پر عید بقرعید اور رمضان کی عید ہے، کتنے سکون کے ساتھ، کتنے امن کے ساتھ لوگ جاتے ہیں، عبادت کر کے آتے ہیں۔ اس کے علاوہ دین کے اندر جو داخل کیا گیا، درگاہوں کے پاس عرس لگانا، میلہ لگانا، قوالی گانا، ناچنا، کودنا، انگارہ کھیلنا، یہ سارے کے سارے اسلام کے کام نہیں، جس کی وجہ سے دنیا کے اندر فساد مچتا ہے، آپس میں جھگڑے آتے ہیں۔ یہ تمام کے تمام ملاوٹی چیزیں ہی، دین کے اندر تمام چیزیں ملا دی گئی ہیں۔ اگر اسی طریقے سے ہر مذہب والے سوچے کہ مذہب کی جو اصل کتاب ہے، اصل جو تعلیمات ہیں، وہ پیس ہی کا سبق دیں گے۔ اگر کوئی کام فساد مچانے کا ہوتا ہے، سڑکوں پر ناچنے کا ہوتا ہے، لوگوں میں جھگڑے پیدا کرنے کا ہوتا ہے، پینے کا ہوتا ہے، ناچنے کا ہوتا ہے، تو مذہب کے اندر ملائی ہوئی چیز ہے۔ اپنے رہنماؤں سے میں کہوں گا کہ ملاوٹی چیزوں کو الگ کرو۔ اس معبود برحق نے جو چیزیں تمہیں عبادت کے لیے دیا ہے، اس کی طرف آ جاؤ، دنیا کے اندر پیس قائم ہو جائے۔ اس لیے اور ساتھ ساتھ بین المذاہب، پورے مذاہب کے رہنماؤں آپس میں پروگرام کرنا چاہیے، مل بیٹھنا چاہیے، اور ہر معاملے میں اچھی تعلیمات ہر مذہب کے اندر ہیں۔ وہ کیا ہیں؟ کوئی بھی معاملہ لے لیں، کوئی بھی معاملہ لے، اس بارے میں تمہارا مذہب کیا کہتا ہے، ہمارا مذہب کیا کہتا ہے، فلاں مذہب کیا کہتا ہے، تمام اچھی معلومات کو ایک دوسرے کو شیئر کرنا چاہیے۔ شیئر کرنے سے دنیا کے اندر امن قائم ہوگا اور فسادات ختم ہوں گے، فتنے ختم ہوں گے۔ اس طریقے سے پورے رہنماؤں کو ہر مذہب کے اندر اکٹھا کریں، کانفرنسیں کریں، اور خاص کر کے ہر مذہب کے رہنما، مختلف نمائندے جمع ہو کر اس بارے میں سوچے، امن قائم کرنے کے لیے ہر مذہب سے کون کون سی تعلیمات ہیں وہ اکٹھا کر کے ساری دنیا والوں کے سامنے پیش کرے، تو ضرور انشاءاللہ امن قائم ہوگا۔ اس طریقے سے آج عالمی فساد دنیا کے اندر، جو پوری دنیا فساد کی طرف جا رہی ہے، اس سے ہم دنیا کو بچا سکیں گے۔ اور میں آخر میں اپنے اس پروردگار سے میں دعا کرتا ہوں کہ کاش تمام کو اس بات کی توفیق دے کہ وہ سب کے سب امن کی تعلیمات کو ظاہر کرے، جو بھی فساد کی تعلیمات کو ان کو ختم کرے، دور کرے، اور دنیا کے اندر امن قائم کرنے کی کوشش کریں. اس بات کی وہ پروردگار تو توفیق عطا فرما. ھذا وصلی اللہ علی نبینا محمد وعلی آلہ وصحبہ اجمعین.
تھینک یو سو مچ سر اتنی سندر باتوں کے لیے. اور ہم دونوں سے سننے کے بعد یہی سمجھ پائے کہ مذہب تو ہمیں پریم کرنا سکھاتا ہے,
ضرور
شانتی قائم کرنے سکھاتا ہے ایک دوسروں کو, لیکن کبھی کبھی کسی لوگوں کی نادانی کی وجہ سے, کسی کے کچھ ایسا ویوہار کے وجہ سے ہم ایک دوسروں کو سمجھ نہیں پائے. لیکن جس خدا کو, جس اللہ, جس پرمیشور, جو پربھو, جو بھگوان کو ہم مانتے ہیں, وہ تو ہمیں پریم ہی کرنا سکھاتے ہیں. ہمارے پہلے جو وقتہ بول کے گئے اس نے بھی کہا لو یور نیبر ایز یور سیلف, اور محمد صاحب بھی کہہ رہے ہیں کہ ہم سب کوئی ایک ہی خدا کے سنتان ہیں. وی آر دا چلڈرن آف اونلی ون گاڈ. اتنی سندر بات کو سمجھنے کے بعد مجھے کسی اچھے شاعر کی شاعری یاد آ گئی. ہم سبوں کے لیے میں یہ کہنا چاہتا ہوں, وہ ایسا ہے, غلطیوں سے جدا تو بھی نہیں میں بھی نہیں, غلطیوں سے جدا تو بھی نہیں میں بھی نہیں, ہم دونوں انسان ہیں, خدا تو بھی نہیں میں بھی نہیں. تو مجھے میں تجھے الزام دیتے رہے, مگر خود کے اندر جھانکتا تو بھی نہیں میں بھی نہیں. غلط فہمیوں نے پیدا کر دی دوریاں, غلط فہمیوں نے پیدا کر دی دوریاں, ورنہ فطرت سے برا تو بھی نہیں میں بھی نہیں. ہم ایک ہی پرمیشور, ایک ہی بھگوان, ایک ہی اللہ کے سنتان ہیں, اور ہم سب کو اگر دل سے چاہے تو شانتی قائم ہو کے رہے گا. ہم اپنے بھائی کو پہچان سکیں گے. اس خدا سے ہم بھی دعا کرتے ہیں, ہمارا بھی یہ گزارش ہے, یہ خدا ہمیں ایک دوسروں کو سمجھنے اور پہچاننے اور بھائی کو بھائی جیسے پہچاننے کی گیان اور بدھی دے. تھینک یو سو مچ سر آپ کی بہت سندر باتوں کے لیے. اور اس وچار سے اگر اور کوئی ہمارے پینالسٹ یا کوئی بھی ہمارے پارٹیسپینٹ جوڑنا چاہتے ہیں تو یو آر ویلکم. اس سے پہلے کہ ہم اگلے وقتہ کو سنیں, اگلے پینالسٹ کو سنیں, آپ کے لیے موقع ہے, اگر کوئی کچھ ایڈ کرنا چاہتے ہیں ابھی سمے آپ کے لیے. دس از ٹائم فار یو مائی فرینڈس. میں 1 منٹ سمے دے رہا ہوں, اگر کسی کو کچھ ایڈ کرنا ہے. بہت مزے ہوئے ہمارے وکتا گن ہیں جو کہ سمے پر اپنا وقت کو پورا کرتے ہیں. یہ ہمارے لیے موقع ہے اگر ہم اپنا وچار کو تھوڑی شبدوں میں رکھیں تو. It is time for you friends, if any one of you want to add anything on this thought. اگر نہیں تو ہم آگے بڑھتے ہیں. ہمارے بیچ میں اور ایک ہمارے پینالسٹ ہے سر ناگوان سونم. سر ہوپ میں میرا آواز آپ تک پہنچ رہا ہے. ہوپ آئی ایم audible to you sir.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, great.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes sir, you are very much audible. Now we want to listen from you, and I have 2 questions for you.
Yes,
And
yes.
please put your thoughts on that. First question I'm reading for you. The role of faith in shaping societies, particularly on issues of peace and human flourishing in multifarious. How can the government, donors and policymakers understand the effectiveness of peace building activities by faith leaders? Second question is, can a political collaboration between Fbos, faith-based organizations, government, policymakers be marked as a step change in how religion is approached? Hope these questions are clear to you, sir. Now
Yes,
time over to you. Now we are ready to listen to you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank Spare India for having me here, and also the eminent panelists who have spoken before me, Dr. Said Ahmad, and then I think it's Ajit Singh Lamba, right? So thank you for Dr. Abraham Matthew, I think these two. So thank you for your efficient and remarkable talks, and particularly Dr. Said Ahmad talk where he says that we should view ourselves as children of the same God. This is actually very, very powerful. So although I'm a Buddhist, and in Buddhism we don't have the concept of God as the creator, but majority of the people around the world who have religious faith, Christianity, Islam, and except some part, most of Hindus believe in a creator. And irrespective of whatever our philosophical differences are, the purpose of all religions is basically, we might actually say, in the service of God, right? But an enlightened God, an omniscient God, ever merciful God, who is free from all kinds of incompetency and suffering, do not really need to be appeased. But what you can really make such an omniscient creator or God happy is by taking care of his children. That's very important. For example, just by using common sense, if you are a real parent who loves his or her children, and if there's somebody else who takes care, who cares for your children, you really feel moved, right? So in the same manner, if you take care of other sentient beings, not just human beings, sentient beings, so long as an entity has the sense of pain and pleasure, we can consider that as a sentient being. So irrespective of how we came into being, the fact still remains that we all want to be happy and do not want to suffer. That's inevitable. That's the foundation. Now the approach to our own happiness, does it come about by being selfish or by being compassionate and by being outreaching? So if you look at our own reality first, the reality is that we are so dependent on others. I'm a Buddhist monk. The clothes that I'm wearing, the computer that I'm using here, the people I'm talking, these are not me. I did not make this. I did not make the computer. The language I'm speaking is not also my mother tongue. I had teachers who taught me, English teachers, Indian teachers, Tibetan teachers. So because of that, because of the kindness of multitudes of sentient beings, I'm saying sentient beings because we feed on the milk and products that comes from the animals too. So the hands of millions of people are connected in our own well-being. So if you remain conscious of how you are connected, but at the same time, being conscious that being selfish does not serve your purpose properly. And then now take the case of India, where I'm actually, although India is not my, I would say, I'm a Tibetan, so, but I have lived my whole life in India. So because of that, as far as philosophy is concerned, as far as my habits are concerned, I'm more Indian than many Indians in a way. So I would say now India, the country that we live in, has a lot, all the major religious traditions of this world live in India. And although we have some differences here and there, it's understandable. Even in a small family, we have differences. But if you look at the broader picture, we do not wage war against one another with religion as the reason. we may have some differences. So because of that, having kind of appreciation for one another's faith, I think it's very important. We don't really have to agree with everything the other religious tradition say or says. It may not conform with your own common sense. It may not conform with your own religious tradition. Doesn't matter. For example, when you go to a restaurant, we all might choose our own food according to our own taste. Likewise, when we dress differently. So outwardly, when we present ourselves differently, we appreciate one another's clothes. We appreciate one another's food. But when it comes to way of thinking, then we put too much emphasis on our own way of thinking. We can just be liberal. If there is no way to change others' way of thinking, you don't have to force your own way of thinking onto others, but simply appreciate them for what they are thinking. But we have to look at the common goal. The common goal of all religions in this world is to serve humanity, serve the creation of God. That's it. So if you look at common goal, then the concept of compassion for others is not difficult. You are being kind to your own kind, one of your own. Now, as far as this is my basic approach as a Buddhist practitioner. The reason there are lots of reasons why how we can practice compassion, but one of the strongest reasons I think of in my practice is in the words of Indian saint Shantidev, 8th century Nalanda master, Indian saint. He says, if both sentient beings and the enlightened beings have the same role in promoting your own liberation or enlightenment, then why do you look after the enlightened beings with such reverence and belittle the sentient beings? So for your own liberation or an attainment of enlightenment or nirvana or mukti, both sentient beings and enlightened beings are needed. We need enlightened beings to teach us how to practice meditation and so forth. At the same time, when we practice compassion, we need sentient beings. So for example, to start a family, you need both the parents. You cannot single-handedly on your own start a family and have children. So the role of parents, both of them are there in your well-being. Now, why do you neglect your mother or your father and just focus on one? So we revere the enlightened beings so much, but at the same time, the creation of enlightened beings or their children, we don't mind whatever kind of treatment however we treat them. So that is Shantideva's reasoning. When both of these have the equal role in your enlightenment, why do you consider the Buddhas so important? And then belittle the sentient beings. So therefore, now as for this is the Buddhist approach. Sentient beings matter to your own well-being. If you are kind to them, you feel good. You're the first beneficiary of your compassion for others. When we are kind to others, we tend to think, oh, I'm being kind to others and they are benefiting from my kindness. No, the first beneficiary of your kindness is you. Because if you are kind and compassionate and embracing, there isn't any stiffness in you. It's a big release you feel in you. And then people you relate to through compassion are actually sentient beings, people who can think and reciprocate love and affection. It's not like extending your kindness to robots or stones. Robots, stones, they do not know how to reciprocate love. Sentient beings do. So that's how, as a Buddhist practitioner, I view practice of compassion. Now, coming to your question, the role of how can the government, donors, and policymakers understand the effectiveness of peace-building activities by faith leaders? Now here, the faith leaders really need to display transparency, all right? You cannot claim to be a faith leader and advise people not to cheat, not to steal, not to abuse. But at the same time, you yourself, if you are abusive, if you cheat, if you lie, and if you're corrupted, then you're not really following your tradition properly. If you truly believe in your faith, then you do not lie, you do not abuse, you do not become corrupted. So if you are not corrupted, if you do not lie, if you have nothing to hide, why would you not be transparent? So transparency is very important. If you see transparency in the practitioners, that brings faith in others. So the best way by which faith leaders can relate to the donors, the governments, and policy makers is accountability. When a donor gives you money, the donor has a right to know where the money goes. All right. It's not just simply you collect donation today and you pocket them tomorrow, and no questions are asked. And if you ask questions, then you say, "Oh, that's not good. You are disrespectful." No. They earn their money. They made their own money, so they have every right to know how their own money is being used or has been used. And if you're able to show them through evidence transparently that the money has been used for good purpose, you'll get more donations. All right. So transparency, I think, is very important. If you truly follow your faith, there's nothing to hide. And what you do is you receive donation. As a society, people believe in you, trust you, and use that money for the underprivileged, those who have no means. A religious practitioner, a faith leader should be like the post office. The post office receives parcels here and there, but tomorrow you distribute. There should be the role of faith practitioner. You shouldn't build big temples and statues and then neglect sentient beings. No. Of course, big temples and statues are very good, but at the same time, if you do not take care of the underprivileged, then you're not really fulfilling God's wishes. So that's my first answer. And the second is the role of faith in shaping societies, particularly on the issue of peace and human flourishing is multifarious. How can the government, donor, and policy understand it? But that's just finished. Okay, 10. Can a potential collaboration between FBO, I guess FBO means faith-based organizations, right? Government policy makers be marked as a step change in how religion is approached? Can a potential collaboration between FBO, government, and policy makers be marked as a step change in how religion is approached? Important. I think you can say this kind of step is important. The role of government, policymaker, again, and the role of religious faith. Policymakers, they make policies so that they can serve people, the public, the mass. Government, the role of government is so that you can systematically take care of all the people, interests of the entire nation. For it to work, you need a system so that with rule and law, you can look after all equally. That's why we have government, right? So likewise, policymaker, you need a good policy so that you can reach as many people as possible, include the interests of all the people in the country. So therefore, we have policies, right? So the role of religious faith is the same. One, the religious faith basically takes care of the mental health, isn't it? It's mental health. In that respect, I think religious faith have more role. In taking care of the physical health, government, policymakers, and so forth have more role. So both are important. We are made up of mind and body, okay? Buddhists speak of anatma, or emptiness, philosophy. Other religions speak of atma, or soul, philosophy. Philosophically, okay, we may not converge on everything, but we can still accept this fact that we have what is called mind and body. So we need to take care of our mind and our body. So the religious faith actually takes care more of your mind. If you're mentally taken care of by the faith, then physically the government and the policymakers, they take care of your rights and so forth. So therefore, the collaboration is important because we have the same goal and also different approaches to serving humanity. So I think this can happen, and it's a very, very it would be a fruitful collaboration if it really happens. But we need, as I said earlier, transparency, sense of concern for one another, not just to impose your own views on others, or not to not empowering, not to force your authority on others. No, serve others, be a part of them, just as you serve your own family members with a concern for others, not to promote yourself, but to help all. If you have this kind of inclusive mentality, then it's not difficult for collaboration to happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We are really privileged to listen to you. It's really wonderful. I request I give 1 minute for other friends if you want to add anything to this precious thought shared by our Sonam sir. I'm really blessed with these thoughts. So now time for you, friends. If you have anything to add on to it, then please, just 1 minute. Because we have just another 24 minutes to go to conclude this program, and we have 2 more speakers to speak. So your time starts now for 1 minute. Any of our friend, any panelist, anyone to add anything on to this idea. I think others are still taking time. Whatever good things I have noted from this beautiful thought is, we can make God happy by making his children happy. When we make his children, the previous speaker also spoke, we are the children of the same creator. If that is true, and Reverend Matthew also said that God has commanded us to love our neighbors as ourselves, to love one another. And now we heard the millions of creatures have contributed for our joy. Today we are happy because many have done. He cited many examples. The computer that I'm using, the language that I'm speaking, the dress that I'm wearing, contributed by others. So it's really wonderful. So nice, sir. And now we will go to another speaker. I would like to invite Mr. Ajit Singh Lamba, our honorable speaker. He will speak for us. And Ajit sir, I hope I'm audible to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Okay. Good evening, sir. So I have 2 questions for you, sir, and we want your precious thought on that. Question number 1. Identify the possible threats between faith-based organizations and disaster management agencies to discuss on ways to approach stigmatized concepts like the hesitations around the uptake of COVID-19 vaccinations. Question number 1. Question number 2. How can faith leaders act as a bulwark against public health emergencies? So we are honored to listen to you, sir. It's time for you. Over to you, Ajit, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It is an honor to share the platform with such high dignitaries. Though I'm just a normal businessman who's carrying out with this post of the secretary there. Thank you to Spare India who have given me this opportunity to give my perspective on this. As we are all aware of the disaster management agencies, the work they've done all throughout the entire last 2 years that we've gone through, COVID times. Disaster used to happen earlier also, but what has happened, for the last 2 years has been really very bad. and it has taken a lot of toll for everyone. Everybody's lost some, some way or the other, some lives, some in terms of, financials, some mental stress. Basically, what happens when we, undergo a disaster? We normally, lose on our strength. There is crisis for food, the mental peace, educations, we lose on educations, which we are already seeing the children, in this generations they are having, medical supports, and, infrastructural work. As the question says, what is the thread between the Fbos and the disaster management agencies? That can be, the thread which we can have. Every religious organization is by itself a self-sustainable disaster management organization. A lot of them will agree with the Gurdwaras leading. Yes, the structure of Gurdwaras are built in such a way that they can provide immediate services to, in times of need. But ultimately, all religious organizations, they work on the same path. Some in a bigger perspective, some in a lighter way. So, we have to actually move ahead in this way only. When there is a disaster, one lacks is inner strength, which the religious organizations provide. The food part is there, mental strength, which obviously by doing the religious hymns, religious bhajans, kirtans, we get, there is a congregation which helps in, people. So accordingly, I feel all religious organizations and the disaster management organizations, they are one and the same. It is just that it is led by other leaders and the disaster management is led by the government. This is the maximum, I would be able to say on this. And regarding the second, how faith leaders can act as, as a bulwark against public health emergencies. Faith leaders are, we've not seen God. Faith leaders are next to, for people next to God. Ultimately, how we react is all upon the faith leaders, how they guide us and how we move ahead. So if the faith leaders actually guide us in the right direction, we will move the way in the positive direction. If they guide us the other way, we move the other way. So ultimately, faith leaders are next to God for us. We have full trust on them and they take the lead at various places. So I feel they are the best. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Your simple words actually inspired every one of us. You shared that you are a simple businessman, but you are a great businessman. You have done great business with our emotions, sir. You have, I really appreciate your good thoughts. And in line with you, I also want to say our religious leaders, our faith leaders are very important. They are responsible and they're influential. The way they take the community will go in that way. So I'm really honored to listen to you, and I'm honored to listen from all these panelists, and we are really blessed. And in this line, I just, before I give 1 minute to others to speak on something on what Ajit sir said, अभी तक हम लोग 4 स्पीकर से सुने हैं और सबों का विचार एक ही लाइन में जाता है, ह्यूमैनिटी कैसे स्ट्रांग होगा, हाउ विल वी लव ह्यूमैनिटी। और किसी शायर ने कहा, मानवता से बड़ा कोई धर्म नहीं होता, मानवता से बढ़कर कोई धर्म नहीं होता। चलो आओ फिर से अपने अंदर सोई हुई इंसानियत को जगाएं, सारे गिले शिकवे को मिटा के प्यार का दीपक फिर से जगाएं, ताकि ऊपर वाला भी उससे देखकर खुश हो जाए। हम एक ऐसा दुनिया बनाएं जिसको ऊपर वाला देख के खुश हो जाए, जिसको हम खुदा कहते हैं, जिसको हम मालिक कहते हैं, जिसको हम अल्लाह कहते हैं, जिसको हम परमेश्वर परमात्मा कहते हैं, जिसको हम भगवान कहते हैं। उसको खुश होने के लिए, उसको अगर खुश करना है तो हमको फिर से एक नया दुनिया कायम करना होगा, और वो हमारे फेथ लीडर्स के द्वारा संभव है। इट इज पॉसिबल by our important, influential and responsible faith leaders. So thank you so much, Ajit sir. And now, friends, if you have anything to speak, add on to his thought. Now it is time for you all before we go to the next speaker. Thank you so much, Ajit sir. Thank you so much. Beautifully spoke. Friends, anyone, participants, our other panelists, whoever, if you want to speak anything on this good thought which Ajit Singh sir shared, time for you. Okay, I think, yes, please. Yes, sir.
Something.
Please, sir.
I actually want to say one or two sentences with respect to identifying the possible threat between FBOs and disaster management agencies. So you see, one Indian master, Dharmakirti, says that if you have a concrete idea of self, an independent self, you would also relate to a concrete idea of independent others, self and others. So based on that demarcation, to what you consider as me and mine, there is attachment. And to what you consider as there and them, there is aversion or anger or jealousy. So all these thoughts comes from basically ego, promoting oneself superior to others. If you have that kind of a mentality, and if you do not share that kind of mentality, then if you try to form a kind of a common approach to address an issue, you don't listen to common sense. You always want to boss around and prove your side better than others. Whereas in reality, whoever has the more kind of open, rational, and reasonable logic, whether it's be you or other, should prevail, basically. And if you have that kind of mentality and openness, whatever works better. For example, in medicine, you don't look at it's my medicine or it's our Indian medicine or that's Western medicine. I'm not going to eat. No. Whatever works for your disease, you will go for that. So if you have the same approach in solving the issues, the public issues that we have, whoever's idea is that, doesn't matter. So long as it's actually good for the issue, then you should be ready to embrace. So that kind of attitude is very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, wonderfully. That's absolutely true, sir. Whatever good ideas we have, we need to embrace it. We need to honor others. We should not force our thoughts alone to others, but we should embrace all the good thoughts, good ideas, maybe shared by anybody, doesn't matter. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Friends, now we are privileged enough to listen to another respectable, honorable speaker, Durga Nandini, Sister Durga Nandini. Hope I'm audible to you, sister. Am I audible to you? Okay. So we welcome you and we are honored to have you here in our midst. I have two questions for you and we want your absolute thoughts, your philosophy, your good thoughts on this. Question I'm reading for you. What are the roles and responsibilities of religious women and religious youth for a faith-based intervention during a conflict or peace building? Second question, how can faith leaders profess the inclusion of protected minorities for spearheading the solidarity across communities? So we will listen from Sister Brahma Kumari Durgesh Nandani. Welcome to you, ma'am, and time to you.
Good evening. Om Shanti. So the first question, role of women and role of youth, isn't it? And we all know for a family, for the discipline in a family, a woman is the key leader. And similarly, what we want in the present society, We want some reformation. We want peace. We seek love. We seek happiness. And inclusion is the must in this society. And here even, the role of women is a must. And we all know even the youth are the future of our country, future of the world. The youth, if they will be motivated, if they are able to shape their character, then the women and youth both are really the instruments for a better world, better society to live in. And for that, religion plays a very important role, very crucial role rather. That we all know religion shapes our value system. Spirituality shapes our value system. And we all being the spiritual being, the value system is the core of our personality. We all have, if we realize the self, if we have the self-realization, then we can understand the peace is the basic value of each individual. Love, which we all seek, that is also the basic value of each individual. So we being an embodiment of peace, love, power, and the whole, the knowledge about the self, knowledge about the supreme, then we can vibrate that vibration, and that will be in our whole personality. It will be reflected in our action. So women being the mother of the society, women being the backbone of the society, they should be spiritual in nature. And the present days, whatever, there is a difference between the body consciousness and soul consciousness, the physical consciousness and the non-physical consciousness. And if we go deep within, we are all same. And the value system can be built properly, and so that we can contribute, the women as well as the youth can contribute the most to the society. And if both of us, if we understand who am I, if we understand who is mine, because if we become self-conscious, means soul-conscious, then I am realizing I am a soul as well as the others who are surrounding me, the people who are inside the whole world, they all are souls. It is told, home can be a heaven if there will be good relation in the family. Similarly, if we are soul conscious, we understand, we realize the self, then the whole world can be heaven, and we can lead a divine life in the society only. So women being the key, having the key position in the family, in the society, they should awaken themselves. They should realize their potential. They should try to utilize their potential in all the fields of the journey of the life, in the spheres of the society. And similarly, the youth, the present youth, they are distracted by so many social media and some other areas. So if they realize the potency within them, the responsibility of each individual, each youth, they even can utilize their own potential in all the spheres of the society. But one should be focused. One should realize the potency within, and for certain things, one should be focused for the objective, focused for the aim. And so, by focusing their own potency for the objective of the life, objective of the time, then we can be really the instruments for the society. And for the betterment of the society, we all faith leaders have responsibility. We are all going through a very crucial time. But it is again, this is not only crucial time, this is again a very auspicious time, because everybody is able to realize the need of the time, the need of the hour. Then it is the time when everybody can understand what we need to do. What is the need of the hour, need of the society, need of the family, and what is the potency within me to contribute for the society, for my family, for other religions, for all the people of the world. As we all know, we used to preach Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, all being in my family. So all religions also belong to one family. All of us belong to one Godfather. So we all have responsibility for shaping myself, for shaping my family, for shaping my society, and the whole for shaping the universe. So what is my responsibility? What is my responsibility? So let me start the journey from my within, from the self. What is the strength within me? What is the weaknesses within me? And how can I align my strength with the need of the society, need of the hour? I hope this is the thing which I want to express. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sister, for your precious thoughts. When I listen to all our panelists, I understand we all are in the same page. In some or the other way, we have expressed that we have the same creator who has created us all, and we are fellow human beings. We are fellow brothers and sisters. So I just want to repeat once again, our faith leaders, those who are important, those who are influential, and those who are responsible. As Ajit Singh said, we trust on our faith leaders. If they want to take our societies in a right direction, we can have a better world. We can have a better world. Yes, at the same time, when I listen to everyone very carefully, somewhere or the other, we feel, as our Sonam sir also said, we need transparency, and we are accountable to each other. When we display transparency and we feel accountable to each other, the trust level will increase, and we can better serve the world, the society. And when we serve the society well, we can make God more happy. So wonderful. Thank you so much to all the panelists. And before we go for a little more discussion, because we have some little time, once again, I'm reminded of certain things, some good sayings of some in a form of शायरी. It says, शाम सूरज को ढलना सिखाती है, क्षमा परवाने को जलना सिखाती है, गिरने वालों को होती तो है तकलीफें, पर ठोकर ही इंसान को चलना सिखाती है. जीवन में बहुत कुछ हम लोगों को ठोकर मिला होगा. Let us not be negative minded. We still have hope, because there is a force behind us, whom we say God, Allah, Malik, Khuda, Ishwar, Parmeshwar. And our God is with us, and we can definitely achieve whatever we are expecting. किसी और ऐसे कहा, जो हो गया उसे सोचा नहीं करते. जो हो गया, बुरा हो गया, जो भी हुआ, जो हो गया उसे सोचा नहीं करते. जो मिल गया उसे खोया नहीं करते. हासिल उन्हीं को होती है सफलता दोस्तों, जो वक्त और हालात पे रोया नहीं करते. जो हो गया सो हो गया. Now we can go ahead. अगर हम अच्छे उम्मीदों के साथ ये काम सब करें, और स्पेशली जो हमारे धर्म गुरु हैं, रिलीजियस लीडर है, उनके ऊपर बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है, और हम सब सोसाइटी वाले उनके साथ देने के लिए तैयार है. थैंक यू सो मच. और अभी ऑलमोस्ट 2 मिनट है. हमारे बीच में और बहुत बुद्धिजीवी है, मैं समझ पा रहा हूं. प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर आई मानवलन Ilakuvan, I think he had something to speak. I feel that, I don't know. If he can speak few lines for us, we will be happy, because we have 2 more minutes to go. Professor Saab, if you can speak few lines for us, we will be happy. Professor Dr. I Manavalan Ilakuvan. Sir, am I audible to you? Can you listen to me? Okay, I think sir is not able to listen to me. I don't know. So with this, I'm really privileged to moderate this program. We learned a lot of good things. I'm also thankful to Sphere India and other partner agencies, and I'm happy to be a part of this from All Vision. Yes, sir. Professor, sir, if you can speak something to us, please. Professor, Doctor. And yes. Can we? Okay. Whoever wants to speak. Abhishek Kumar. Yes. Brother Abhishek Kumar. Do you want to speak something? Okay. If not, then I'm through. Over to Varsaji. Thank you for this time. Thank you all honorable speakers. I'm really blessed. I will take this learning in my life, and wherever I work, I will try to implement that. Thank you so much once again to everybody. Over to you, Varsaji.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Sphere India, I would like to thank Sir Abraham Matthew, Sir Ajit Lamba sir, Navang Sonam sir, Sister Durgesh Nandini ji, and Sayyid Ahmed ji. I would like to thank you all for sparing your time and taking out your time from this busy schedule and grace the event. And thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your wise words on this special day. I would also like to thank Mr. Kanal Naik sir for taking out time and making this discussion very much engaging and enlightening. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, friends.
Thank you very much.
It was a privilege to be with you all. Thank you so much. Definitely we will meet somewhere.
We'll continue
Thank
this
you.
association and fellowship.
Definitely, definitely. We will be blessed to have you all again. Thank you. Thank you, Varsaji. Thank you for making All Vision a part of this. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Just all same to you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.